We were just wrapping up this one last application, right? We were trying to, what was the, we trying to do here? We were trying to,
I think you were entering it into the calculator.
okay, yeah, we had done pretty much everything, hadn't we? And we were just, we wanted to, we isolated the X, which is what we were trying to find. And the last step was we want to do this calculation, right? And I talked to you about not accumulating air, right? Because sometimes you can get propagated air. Well, not sometimes, you always get propagated air if you round multiple times. We don't want to do that, especially with Desmos. It's so easy. You have that big screen. It's easy to input a big expression and make it look exactly mathematically like this with a fraction bar. Okay, so that's the last step. If I go to Desmos, I can just use Desmos Scientific. I don't need the graphing one. Okay, so what do we get here? We're just going to do 15. And now you can hit the fraction bar first. That's fine to do, right? Where's the fraction bar? Right here. I can hit the fraction bar first, create a fraction, and just put all that stuff on top. That's fine. That's probably how most of you do it. I'll show you another way. We can just input the top, the numerator, all that stuff, 1507.36 minus, and I don't have to use a fraction bar. I can just do 4 divided by 3. If I hit the divided by sign, Desmos is smart. It knows to make a fraction. Hit the right arrow, type in pi for pi, or I can click the pi button, times 4.2 cubed. Now what? If I want to put all that in a fraction, what do I do? Highlight it. Okay, highlight all that stuff, and then just hit divide. How about that? And it puts all that on the top and puts me in the bottom. Pi times 4.2 squared. And it gives me a big ugly decimal. Now notice, of course, it doesn't give me a fraction button here because this is definitely irrational. How do we know that this is going to be irrational? Say it again. There's no pattern in it, right? And I could probably predict that because I've got all these pi's in there. That doesn't always mean that though. Sometimes pi's will cancel out and things will happen. So occasionally, even when you have pi's or square roots, in certain instances, you might end up getting a rational answer, but you always want to be suspicious. If you see pi's or square roots in there that don't simplify, you can, the vast majority of the time, you know you're going to get an irrational answer, right? And that's a nice little, in Desmos, if I don't see that fraction button, it's irrational, right? You can't make a fraction out of it. Okay, so then we would take that last answer and we would just simplify, or we would just reduce that to however many decimals were asked for. And I think it was 1, but we'll check. I'll just put this in the notes. Oops, bad move. Okay, so then our answer is, whoops, forgot to look. How many points did we want to 1 decimal place? So what does that round to? 21.6? Okay, and what kind of a symbol? Do I want to put an equal sign there? What do I put? Oh, okay, good. I'm putting an approximately equal to sign, right? It's approximately equal to 21.6. And if we want to include units, what would the units be? Meters, because look, we're measuring, all distance measurements up here are occurring in terms of meters because our volume was given to us in cubic meters, right? Everybody see that? So the base unit would be a meter. Okay, give me 1 to 5 on that. How are we doing? Is that all good? Okay. All right. I'm going to turn you loose, work on this stuff, get questions answered. Has anybody not finished the test? I think everybody has. Okay. Yeah. Oh, one thing I did. Yeah, go ahead. You're fine. One thing I did want to mention real quick before I hang up here.